This is very clear because we have to take into account Mexico's position in the continent. We have one of the biggest powers in the world as our neighbor in the north. It is our first partner in trade. We send a lot of labor migrants to this country. So for us, after NAFTA in 1994, it has been a change of attitude and perception about the United States. So before it was afraid, Mexico was afraid of getting too close to the US. And it was seen as the leader of the Latin American countries. But when it was decided that it was time to close the partnership with North America, the United States and Canada, we started looking south, and we stopped looking south and we started looking north. That made a difference with our neighbors in the south because they felt a little bit betrayed. There were arguments like saying, okay, define yourself, are you with us or you're in the north? And there was a little bit of ambiguity regarding Mexico because we wanted to be in the north, but we didn't want to leave alone, to leave completely the south. So I think this is an identity too, because if you ask to an average Mexican if he or she feels Latin America, the answer will be yes. If you ask if they feel there is not a North American concept of citizenship, either you're Mexican or you're American or you're Canadian. So in this sense, we feel that we belong to Latin America, but we really don't, because it's more of a competition with Latin America than anything else. So identity, it's close to that, but as a matter of fact, there is nobody in Mexico that doesn't have a relative living in the United States. So integration in that sense, in the citizen, in the lowest base of the pyramid of integration, which is the citizens, is doing itself little by little. We have to change perceptions, of course, like perceptions of Mexicans are bad or whichever things that we're not. So the geopolitical question is to be in the middle of Latin America, but being a partner of North America. And that has to be very clear. I think it has to do with the first question, because before we felt that we need to deal politically and economically with Latin America, but then we felt that we had to turn north because of economic reasons mainly, not for identity or anything. So geopolitically, it's not that Mexico really, like some other countries that have some aspirations of territorially beyond their borders. I think we're very happy with what we have as a territory. We're not going to expand south. We're definitely not going to expand north. But what we want is to be a power within the region. And that would be the strategy. In my point of view, it would be better if we once for all choose to be north or to be in Latin America. But we're too integrated now to the north, and we are producing the same goods and exporting the same as in Latin American countries. So it's better to enhance the partnership with the north. Before, Mexico didn't pay too much attention to Africa, and actually there are very few research centers in universities or in the government that address African issues. Lately, probably because Brazil was making a lot of noise by opening embassies all over Africa, Mexico decided that it was a good idea to turn its eyes to the continent. So I think they started to draw a strategy of opening more embassies and having more ties with different countries. But I still think that there has to be a more focused core of what you really want to achieve by going to this or that country in Africa. It's not just opening embassies because we cannot, economically it's not sustainable for us. But we really have to be careful and expand really those relationships that are going to be of mutual benefit for the different countries. So before there was not a strategy, now there is some.